So I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Trump has basically said that there is no Epstein list, that it's fake or whatever. QAnon's not taking it well. They are not happy, to say the least. I want to talk about QAnon's reaction. It is not what you'd expect. This is what Trump said. What's going on with my boys and in some cases gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world. Selfish people are trying to hurt it. All over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again, blah, blah, blah. He got ratioed to kingdom come over that, okay? That was a very unpopular statement for him to make. And we're seeing like a broad range of reactions. But as far as I can tell, QAnon is kind of stepping in behind him and they're standing behind what he said. Pretty much everybody else that's a Trump supporter is very unhappy with it. And in other upcoming episodes, I'm going to talk about some of that. Laura Loomer's reaction, Nick Fuentes. But let's talk about QAnon specifically. Okay, this is Shane Vaughn. This is Todd Coconato. There are a couple of televangelist QAnoners. And this is Liz Crokin. Listen to what Shane Vaughn said about it. We're going to talk about Liz Crokin and a couple of others.
The person that has the power is Donald John Trump.
He's a Trump theologist, this guy. He believes that Donald Trump is the Son of Man, filling in for Jesus.
He looked at the file. You trust him, right? Oh, not anymore? Because he won't go down your favorite rabbit hole? Are we that shallow, America?
Is it shallow to care about like trafficking rings?
You trust Pam Bondi. You trust Dan Bongino. You trust Kash Patel. Let it go.
I really wouldn't say I trust any of these people.
No, but I guess Shane Vaughn's weird little cult of followers, they do trust them. God, the biggest suckers on planet Earth, right?
Get over it. Move on. Que sera, sera. Evil is evil. It's always there.
Wait, so was Epstein actually a trafficker? Is that what he's saying? Evil is always there. Does he trust Trump or not?
So, you want transparency? Great.
Well, I don't want transparency. I just want him to release the list.
But unless you're the district attorney, all you've got is curiosity with a Wi-Fi signal.
Well, that's not strictly true. Actually, we have the list. We have the Epstein list. We have his flight logs. And guess who's all over them? Donald Trump. Gawker released them like 10 years ago when the dude first went to jail. They leaked them. And then when Trump took control or whatever of the White House this last time, he released a redacted version of the flight logs that we already had. We had the unredacted version. So we already know who's on the list. We already know who's involved and what their degree of involvement was and all of that stuff. What I'm unhappy about is that these people are not being charged with crimes. They're not facing accountability. I'm not very happy about that one. So I don't want the list. I don't care if he checked out. It's completely irrelevant to me. In fact, I think he did check out. I think he did it himself. I don't think he even had any help. You know what I think would have happened if there was like a serious like blackmail thing, a lot of powerful people after him? They would have tried to coerce the prosecutor into dropping his charges if they were that afraid. They wouldn't have set up this whole big complicated thing where they sneak into a prison and they cut out this footage and all that other stuff. I think that's too conspiratorial. Occam's razor, the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. I think he checked out. But I'm wondering why we haven't had any prosecutions. We absolutely have a list of people that were involved. We have that list. We know what it is. It's not the government withholding it. It's us that has it. It's the government that isn't charging people. That's the problem. And again, Trump is all over those lists.
You've got is curiosity with a Wi-Fi signal.
No, that's not all we have. We have the lists.
All right? Stay in the fight. Trust God. Trust Trump. Trust our Justice Department. We got great people up there now.
Anyway, that's kind of how QAnon is reacting. Here's another one. This is Todd Coconato. He's another Trump theologist, believes that Trump is like, effectively like the Son of Man. He's like Jesus. You know, people believed, Christianity generally believes that Jesus is the Son of God and that he's the Son of Man. Son of Man is are you familiar with this?
Kind of.
Son of
Vaguely.
Man is a term used in the Old Testament to refer to a prophet that comes from Judaism that's going to act as a cosmic judge to right all of the wrongs and set everything straight and establish a kingdom on earth in God's name. That's what the Bible really says about it. And Son of Man is just a term. It doesn't really mean anything special other than that. Don't try to read into what it means any deeper. It's just a term. Anyway, Christians generally believe that Jesus is the Son of Man, but he died. He didn't set up God's kingdom on earth. He didn't act as that cosmic judge and spark Armageddon. So, you know, Christians, they start asking questions like, what happened? How could he die? That doesn't make any sense. And Paul says, he'll be back. He'll be back. Just wait and see. He'll return, and then he'll fulfill his role as the Son of Man. So these people's claim, Todd Coconato and Shane Vaughn, is that Trump is fulfilling the role of Son of Man as the cosmic judge that's going to spark Armageddon and establish a kingdom on earth in God's name. And Trump will be the king of earth. So that's kind of the idea. That's where these guys' heads are at. And again, they're QAnoners, so they buy into all of it.
Don't just turn on this administration. Even if they did gaslight us on this, this is still far better than would have ever been with a Kamala Harris administration.
Who is Camilla Harris? I've never heard of that before. Camilla Harris.
A Kamala Harris administration. We still see a lot more freedom. We're seeing a lot of wins.
So that's Todd Coconato's first reaction. Here's his next one.
I don't think that he wants his legacy to be that he allowed one of the biggest stories in our generation to just go away. I don't think, I mean, from everything that...
So again, let me guess. He's playing 5D chess. Is that what it is? Trump is playing 5D chess?
We've seen either the man is a complete liar, which I just can't imagine that being...
Can't imagine Trump being a liar.
...the case. Okay, you know, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi. I mean, we'll go down the list. Would every one of them sell their soul? People say for money. They do it for money. They do it for power. They were just...
Well, they do it for Donald Trump. They would do anything for Donald Trump. These people would. And we have a clear as day example of these people pretending that there's nothing there with Epstein. Again, like, I don't want the list. I don't care about the list. I have the list. I want prosecutions. Here, check this out. Talking about Dan Bongino. Look, this is an example of Dan Bongino before and after he started working for Trump.
But how exactly did he do this? When you see how the cells are laid out, how high they are.
By the way, this is, if you don't know, this is the deputy director of the FBI. He is under Kash Patel as the FBI director.
How there's not really anchor points or anything, how they don't really give them a lot of metal and things to work with. And even the sheets they give them aren't like weight. They're not capable of bearing weight. Joe, they give them like, it's like a paper type sheet. It doesn't bear weight. In other words, if you were to rip it, yeah, exactly, into like a rope type thing. How exactly did it happen?
Himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He himself.
Well, now that's fascinating, isn't it? Dude's going all the way in on conspiracy land to, you know, calculating the weight that a blanket can hold and all that other stuff. And now he works for Trump, and just like that, he suddenly says Epstein checked out. Again, I believe Epstein did check out, but there's definitely a client list, contrary to what Pam Bondi said, and this guy.
I notice it happens a lot that people will say one thing and stand on that and be very vocal about their opinions on it. And then they speak to Trump or they get into that, like...
That world?
Yeah, that world. And all of a sudden, it's like their entire viewpoints just went out of the window. They don't care anymore.
Yep. Now, Liz Crokin on the right here, she actually knows Donald Trump, and she has spoken at Mar-a-Lago before. She was invited to speak at Mar-a-Lago, and I have that. We're not going to play that one right now. I've talked about it before if you're curious. Here you go. This is her speaking at Mar-a-Lago.
Where the Balenciaga was exploiting children.
Yeah, so that's Liz Crokin. She has been a conspiracy theorist zeroed in on Epstein and Pizzagate and all of the QAnon nonsense for like a long time. Not that Epstein is QAnon nonsense. I'm just saying QAnon embraces it as a conspiracy and goes into La La Land with the Epstein stuff, in all seriousness. Listen to her reaction to Donald Trump basically saying, boys and gals, stop going after Pam Bondi. She's too legit to quit, as our friend MC Hammer would say. And there's nothing in the Epstein files. In fact, there aren't even there aren't even Epstein files. Listen to her reaction.
Everyone's so mad, as they should be, that he said that. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is brilliant. Like, where has this anger been for the past decade? I have been so pissed, so frustrated, screaming at the top of my lungs, touring the country, giving speeches exposing Jeffrey Epstein. I have been so pissed and angry and riled up about this for years. And now I'm starting to see everyone else bring up that kind of energy.
So she's saying Donald Trump is acting as a double agent to get people whipped into a blood frenzy over Epstein. Is that what she's saying? I think that's it. Check this out. You remember when Elon Musk said Trump is in the Epstein files and that's why he's not releasing them or whatever? Well, as it happens, Liz Crokin, the woman we were just listening to, she responded to that too. She had something to say about that. And here it is, if you want to read it. The bottom line is she believes that Trump is all over the Epstein files because Trump was acting as a double agent working undercover to expose Jeffrey Epstein. That's what she said when Elon Musk said Trump is in the files. Now, I gotta say, that kind of clashes with the fact that Trump is trying to draw attention away from the Epstein stuff now. That doesn't make any sense at all. So were you correct then, just like a few weeks before this when Elon Musk said Trump was in it? Or are you correct now when you're saying that Trump is still acting as a double agent?
And now I'm thinking, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. He is getting his base so fired up to demand justice. We're probably now going to see the mainstream media go crazy and say, oh, President Trump acts like Jeffrey Epstein isn't a big deal. He doesn't care. How horrible is this? Well, what a brilliant way, Hannah, to get the mainstream media to cover Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my God, dude. Trump is making the news, okay? If he wanted, he could go out there and say all that stuff. The media's not talking about Jeffrey Epstein. He could call up the execs at Fox and tell them to run, 3-hour segments, 3-hour specials, put money into documentaries on Epstein if he wanted. And he's not doing any of that. He's shutting people down. He's telling them to stop talking about it.
Trump is quite literally the president. Every speech he makes, every time he goes out in public and says a single word, it is covered because he's the president. If he said one thing at one of his conferences, at one of his speeches, he could go to a random, he could go to a random Walmart and just start talking to a cashier about it. And it would be on the news.
And he has access to the files, to everything. Pam Bondi said, so there are a couple of layers here to the Epstein story that people are kind of, sidestepping. Like Bongino, when it's convenient, he sidesteps it, right? He talks about, I want to see prosecutions. Where are the prosecutions? Bongino, in response to my request for prosecutions, says, the guy himself, okay? I don't care if he himself. I couldn't possibly care less. I want to know what's happening to the people, right? And he says, look, there just isn't a client list. Well, let's just set aside the fact that that's false. I don't care about the client list either. We have it. Gawker released the flight logs. What I want to see is who was involved in all of this stuff. And Pam Bondi admits that there were tapes, like DVDs of people, DVDs in Jeffrey Epstein's dresser or whatever that were labeled
While you find it, I've also seen a lot of people, a lot of like Republicans and MAGA saying, "Oh, well, you don't actually want this because there are Democrats on there too. There are people who are on your side on there." That's the reason we want it. We don't want like terrible people to be leading. We don't want terrible people to have that public platform without any sort of justice or anything for the people who were affected.
I can't find exactly which thing I'm referencing, but basically there was a dresser with a bunch of tapes in it, and they had person's name, child's name, age on the front. Like 100 tapes. Like Trump, Andrea, 13, that kind of thing. Like, how horrifying is that? That's like that is absolutely wild. I don't want to see that stuff. Pam Bondi admits openly, she says that exists, and she says that's CP, and that'll never see the light of day. Good. I don't want it to. I want you to blur those people's faces and plaster the dude's face all over everything. But she says, conveniently, none of that exists anymore. What happened? So anyway, Liz Crokin, this being like her key issue, the thing that she's built her life around, now thinks that Trump is a double agent, like working for the white hats in the military, working against the deep state or something.
To get the mainstream media to cover Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, I kind of feel like we're seeing a little like classic President Trump kabuki theater 5D chess here.
It's like, at what point can we call this delusion? You know, delusion has a medical definition. It's a diagnosis, right? You can't just say, this person is being delusional accurately. But at what point is this genuinely delusion? It is indistinguishable from mental illness, what we're looking at right now. It is absolutely wild.
And at what point does Trump doing something mean he's doing 5D chess? At what point is it no longer 5D chess and we're just seeing it for what it is, basically?
Honestly,
because every time he does something wrong, something different, that's all they claim.
The thing is with these people, Liz Crokin and all of the others that we've talked about, there's like a subset of the Trump movement, including these people, maybe 23%, I'm going to say, that will follow him off a cliff. They'll say or do whatever it is that they think he wants or that think will benefit him or whatever. No matter what. Up to and including defending a sex trafficking person that takes advantage of children, obviously. And this clip, we're going down a little bit of a rabbit hole here, but this is from when COVID started, before MAGA demonized it and said it was a deep state, blah, 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 and before the vaccine was like demonized. So we're talking, this is from somewhere around July 2020, when that was 3 or 4 months or 5 months after COVID started and before we had the vaccine, right? This is another Trump pastor, like Trump theologist, named Mark Taylor, famous as the firefighter prophet. He's this big figure on the right. Anyway, he's on the Erskine podcast. Listen to this.
They're even calling it the Biden vaccine.
This is Erskine talking. They're complaining that Biden might take credit for the vaccine instead of Trump. That's wild, right? What a different time it was.
And isn't it interesting? They wait till a week after the election to announce they have a vaccine, right?
No, it must have been mid-November then.
This has been set up from the very beginning from the Democrats.
And this is Mark Taylor.
Whether it was trying to hurt Trump with the COVID, whether it was trying to hurt him with this or that. I mean, there's so many different things. The vaccine, I tell people, if you were listening to Trump back in the COVID times.
Back in the COVID time. How quaint, right? We had another 3 years of it at least.
To a lot of his press conferences, Trump's 10 steps ahead of everybody. And when you listen to him speak, every time that he would say the word COVID, switch that out with the word cabal. Mm-hmm. Every time that he says, what is the cure? The vaccine. What is the vaccine? We, the people in the military. When they go in and they start arresting these people. I think he was giving code out a lot of times to the people because there's always more than one depth of revelation to what he says.
You catch that word? Revelation? There's one depth of revelation to what Trump says. He's a Trump theologist. He believes that he's the Son of Man.
He's so much far ahead of the game. So the vaccine is the cure for what? The cabal. That's what's going to happen, I believe, when they release the vaccine.
There's a little bit more to this. Just stick with me.
We're going to go with corona. It's called the coronavirus. Now, if you go with corona, C-O-R-O-N-A, 6 letters. C is the third letter in the alphabet. O is the 15th letter. R is the 18th. O is the 15th. N is the 14th. A is the first. 6 letters in.
It's always really funny to me when people do this because I see it a lot on TikTok too, but they do it as a joke where, well, if you take this letter and then add up how many letters are in this word, I could do that with any word. And a minute ago he said, well, if we replace the word COVID with whatever, what was it?
Corona.
No. He said when Trump's making his speeches about COVID.
Depth of revelation?
Yeah, but he said replace the word with like cabal or something.
Oh, replace the word vaccine with we the people in military, replace the word COVID with the cabal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could replace any word with any word in any sentence and get the exact same result.
Yeah, what you're talking about here, this is called gematria. You ever heard the word?
No.
It's a Jewish thing where it's existed for a long time. So basically, you take the letters of the alphabet and you go like A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, all the way to Z is 26. And you take a sentence and you add all of the letters up and you put a number on the other side and you fill in some of the letters. And the person has to work out what the phrase is based on what the number is on the other side. That's gematria. And they usually stick it in like bar mitzvah cards, a nice moral lesson or whatever, moral statement. It's just a fun little thing. These people took gematria and turned it into like prophetic revelation. That's part of the QAnon bit. That's what QAnon does. They do gematrias a lot, and that's what they're doing here. That's what this is.
It reminds me a lot of a joke that a streamer had made like a long time ago. They said if you remove a couple of letters from iron and then add a couple of letters, it spells sadness. And it's like
that's true, I suppose. Yep.
That's like basically what they're doing here.
Yeah, totally. Gematria. I mean, it's absolutely absurd.
N is the 14th. A is the first. 6 letters in corona. Those other numbers add up to 66. 666. A cult-driven script and a Luciferian human sacrifice, a mega ritual. This is what Satan uses, and that's it. 666. Corona. Is that coincidence? I don't buy coincidence. Do you?
Nope.
So the point is that these people will stand behind Donald Trump no matter what. Doesn't matter what he's saying. Doesn't matter what he's doing. The moment he flips a position, they jump in line behind him. Right now, we're seeing QAnon nutcases kind of freak out about Epstein or whatever, but they're all going to step in line. QAnon's already stepping in line. All these other people are going to as well. Give it a little bit of time. Mark it down on your calendar. We'll come back and visit this in a year, and we'll talk about where they stand with Epstein then. Anyway, tell me your thoughts.